is yet an honor, a pleasure to be sitting here with the man that you see me with right now, Mr. Darnell Chino Payne, the founder of U5U Dance Group, the first true dance group in the city of Chicago, which if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't see any of the dance groups kicking around here today like they are. He has set such a stage for the hip-hop community here in Chicago. And I gotta introduce him yet again, Darnell Payne.
How y'all doing? It's good to be here.
I got a question, like I said, you're the pioneer of this.
Sure.
You know, what made you say, you know what, it's time for a change in Chicago and got this dance thing going?
Well, Nikki, I guess it was an evolution of dance. Before U5U, it was Chi-Town Rockers. We were a breakdance crew
Okay.
from the early 80s, I'd say 84 to be exact. And as breakdancing was fading out as a fad, we just took an opportunity to say, you know, let's try something different. Let's try to organize something. You know, we were all at that time in performing high school. We were at Curie High School of Performing Arts, and it was some of my friends, and we were trying to find things to do to basically stay out of trouble or get caught into the gang scene that had got really big at that time. So I'll say from 84 to 85, we went through a few names. We tested out some things. We went from Chi-Town Rockers to Together We Jack, and to the Untouchables, and from the Untouchables to the Untouchable Unity Dance Troupe, which is what we're known as today. And I count it as a blessing that I was able to step into that many people's life and be instrumental in who they become. A lot of my dancers have went on to become choreographers and video dancers, and a lot of people have started their own groups and are very successful at it. So I feel blessed. I feel honored. Not as the person that everyone said, oh, Darnell Payne, he started it all. I feel blessed that I had an opportunity to be a part of so many young people's life.
And I mean, it's just a wonderful thing that you had there. And I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that if it really wasn't for you, we wouldn't have the final phase and the house arrest and phase 2s and the K59s, you know, things of that nature. I know a lot of the old heads are going to remember the tracks, you know, House of Maddox, U5U, K59, you know, you really set things on the scene. What type of things, like, what kind of shows did you guys do, and, you know?
Back then we did them all. Some of those dance groups you named, they brought back so many memories of just people who have been very instrumental in my life. I was very young, and people thought that I was a lot older than what I was when I was leading that group. So people like House of Maddox, Rodney Sloan at that time, he was my best friend, and Phase 2, and Terrain Ellis from Main Attraction, and man, I mean, we really got into a lot of stuff together. Back then, every concert that came to the city, we opened up for. It got to a point that we set a standard. They knew that when we came, we were going to bring a professional attitude, and they wouldn't have to worry about a bunch of little kids running around acting wild. They knew that we had a standard. There was a way that we behaved. There was a way we carried ourselves. There was a way that we dressed. There was an attitude that we had of perfection. And sometimes now, when I look at some of the dance groups now, who it's like they do it just to be doing something, or they do it just to be competing, or they're doing it for the money. And if you're doing it for the money, you'll find out very quickly there's not a lot of money there, especially within the dance community here in Chicago. But back in the day, I mean, the Immature concert, the Biggie concert, all of the Scarface concerts that used to be held down on 47th and Halsted, you name it, we were in it. Every stage play that came, when Tyler Perry first started out at the at the Regal, we were opening up for his stage plays, one of his first stage plays that came. There used to be a large talent show that was held here at our Regal, similar to the Apollo. We won like 12, 13 times, you know, in a row before they finally asked us to become special guests because no one could beat us. I mean, we've traveled all over to different cities, to different college. We were really big in the college tour circuit. Everyone that do a show, they had us. We were typically busy 4 to 5 days out of 7, just performing, you know, staying out of trouble, doing something positive, trying to give a lot of that positive energy back. And along with them dancing, they also had to be excellent students. They had to be willing to learn. They had to put up with a lot of my mess. I used to be a lot meaner back then, but it was to get the result. It wasn't just me being an angry person. It was me wanting a certain thing, and I wasn't settling for less. And my message to some of the dance groups now is the same message that my grandmother gave me as a small child, and that's if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And a lot of the groups now are falling for anything. Represent yourself. Go ahead and get your 501c3. Go ahead and make yourself legal. Make yourself something that if a real concert came along, they can't take just any little dance group and say, I'm going to put you in my show, because there's monies that have to be crossed, and there are business and contracts and things that have to be crossed. And if you don't have the legal things where they can go back and see you as an organized business, then they can't hire you. And a lot of people don't have their business done yet. They have a park that they practice at. They're collecting a lot of dues money from these kids. They're doing a lot of shows, and they're riding around with the profits. But what are the kids gaining? So my message, I mean this with all my heart, if you don't stand for something now, you'll fall for anything.
Now see, that was a deep message. Next question, and I just have to ask, I do ask this question a lot. How do you feel about the hip-hop community now, outside of the fact that they'll fall for anything, and I mean just in general, in the city of Chicago, not just dance, I mean like the artists, you know, just different talents. How do you feel about that?
It's a shame that us being one of the largest cities in the Midwest, that we don't support each other enough in the things that we do. For example, a dance group today, one of the best downs that's held every year, held an excellent show. While there was another group on the other side of town trying to force a show just to contradict what that team was doing. They failed miserably, but that's because they didn't work well together. So, I mean, hip-hop, from rapping to singing to anything else that's going on in the Midwest, I'm so frightened by what's going on. We've gotten a taste of LA now. LA has come to us. New York has come to us. Everybody want to know where Juke came from. Everybody want to know where this style of music is coming from. From the Watch My Feed to the new little thing that's out now, whatever, Head Boy or whatever, with them doing the signifying against each other. All that goes back to a down track beat. A house beat that you can easily footwork off of. You hearing the songs now, they're starting to emulate something that we started 20 years ago, but LA is getting the credit. Everyone who finds himself in a talented position or in an opportunity, the first thing they decide to do is leave Chicago. They say there's no opportunities here. There's no opportunities here because you're one of the people who leave it. You have to set roots somewhere. And even though you might go to Atlanta or LA or New York or whatever, you will be back. So instead of wasting your time and your money and your effort, try to plant some roots now. Those people who out here who love to sing and they have studio, this is hip-hop. Beat it. People who have studios now and they're doing music now, start, when you're doing a Chicago act, put a Chicago dance group in it. Don't go and search for other dancers. You a rapper, you need a singer to sing on the hook, then find a Chicago singer. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave to LA to get your studio time. Don't leave and go to New York. Do it right here. There's a lot of talented people here. And until we pull together dancers, singers, rappers, whatever, spoken word, whatever is your desire to do, until you decide to stick with your own, to stand behind your own people, you'll be back. You'll run and chase a dream, and you'll chase that dream, and you'll chase that dream. And at the end of that dream, you'll just find another dream. But if you put some roots somewhere, then you can stand on something. You can stand firmly and say, I'm from Chicago, I'm representing Chicago, I got love for Chicago, and that's that. If you want me, then sign me here in Chicago. Set me up here. And stop moving all of our talent out of Chicago, because we go out into LA, they burn us out, they use us up, they take our ideas, they give it to LA people. They'll take a Chicago, a Midwest song, give it to an LA artist, blow them up, and then that person from Chicago is on their way right back to Chicago with nothing.
Wow. That has got to be the deepest thing that I've heard thus far in any interview. And I mean, there's not much that can be said behind that.
That's what's up.
But I hope now that you've heard this man's words, you understand why he's the pioneer and the legend that he is. Take the words as inspiration and visualize the discipline and make it your own. Darnell, Chino, Payne, your girl Reason. Unknown to know, now you know.